Hello, welcome to Sound Bites. I'm your host, Holly Whitfield from the Daily Memphian. I'm here with Brad McCarley, co-owner and manager, butcher at Buster's.
Yeah.
Butcher, all of the above. That's really what we're going to talk about today, the all of the above of it. Before we get started, I just wanted to say this is the Daily Memphian's food, drink, and dining podcast. You can listen to us on WYXR on Thursdays at 11 a.m. or find Sound Bites with me, Holly Whitfield, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever little app you're using these days. But you know what? I'm actually just going to go ahead and jump in and get started with Brad because I've been seeing Brad work behind counters, front of counters, behind tables, front of bars, all over the place in Memphis restaurants, in good Memphis restaurants, since I've lived here, which is about 20 years now. So I'd love to get, your kind of full pedigree, your full experience. And are you from Memphis?
Oh my, yes. Yeah, I'm from Memphis. I grew up in West Memphis, and then my family moved here in '85. Went to high school here, junior high. I went to Rhodes for my first year of college, and during that time, I had my first restaurant job at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, where I worked the salad station and the dessert station.
Nice.
And I got fired after about a month.
I need to know everything about this. Is this the same Ruth's Chris location?
It was in the Ridgeway Loop.
Okay.
So it was like by Benihana, where Benihana is now. My best friend, we were new to working. We didn't know anything about holding a job. And, I'm back there at 7 o'clock on a Friday, just, banging out salads and stuff like that. And my friend calls me at work, and he apparently demands to talk to me.
Okay.
And which is not, you can't take a phone call at work unless it's emergency in a restaurant.
It's maybe especially at 7 on a Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. My buddy cussed out the manager on the phone, and then because he wouldn't let him talk to me, and then the manager came into the kitchen and fired me on the spot.
But you know how to make them salads.
Oh, yeah. I got them all.
That's great. Okay, so what happened next?
So next I worked at a little mom and pop on Poplar called Parati's, which was great. I learned a ton there. I did everything. I was, cook, waiter, pizza guy, delivery guy. It was really small. I learned a ton about, like Italian food and making dough and stuff like that. Then I moved away and went to school at Brevard College in North Carolina. And I was really focused on becoming a rock climbing guide. And so that was like my main focus, which is kind of like how my cooking career was for many years. So I would be focused on like something else is going to be my career, right? I'm going to be a rock climbing guide. But that doesn't pay very well, or I'm a college student, so I need something to make ends meet. So I go work in a restaurant in that town. So I worked at a small restaurant in Brevard. Then I transferred to the University of Arizona, where my brother was in school, and continued working as a guide. But I also, would do a little bit of kitchen work on the side. Sure. When I finished there, I started working for the National Outdoor Leadership School, which was very seasonal again. Right. I moved to Jackson, Wyoming, and I worked in a few good restaurants there. But I was always, I must have been the worst line cook because I would be there for 3 months and then I was like, I'm out. I'm going climbing or whatever. Did that, got married, moved to Salt Lake City, and I was still doing like the outdoor guiding kind of thing, but, also working in restaurants. I wanted to get out of the outdoor guiding thing because I'd had a pretty catastrophic ankle injury.
Oh no, yeah, that's really hard.
Yeah, I took a big fall on a rock climbing route, and so I kind of moved into another passion, which you'll find I'm the king of the hobby job. It's like, man. So I got really into music, started playing in bands, opened a recording studio, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, again, the entire time, I'm like thinking, you know, music is my career. I'm just going to take cooking jobs to like make ends meet. I did, and I eventually became a kitchen manager at a restaurant in Salt Lake. And then I decided to move. My folks were getting older, and it's like I didn't really have any roots in Salt Lake. I'd gotten divorced. And
it's time for the next chapter.
Came back to Memphis, and you know, I was actually looking for recording studio work, which is like super hard to find. And I just took a job at Porcellino's, working with Aaron Winters was the head butcher there at the time.
Yep.
It's a blast from the past.
That is a blast from the past.
And
Porcellino's. I didn't realize that was sort of your...
That was my entree into
return.
Like the modern
yeah.
Memphis restaurant scene. So I started there as, you know, like I was making $11 an hour as a butcher, you know, just a butcher, just learning. And I was like super into it, you know, I was like super into, I treated it like a college class.
Yeah.
You know, I would read about it, and I would take notes and make my little drawings of cows and pigs and all the different parts. Yeah. And like I've
some got anatomy stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot. There's a lot of, you know, they call it animal myology. It's the
myology,
like
okay.
The muscle structure.
We're learning things today.
Yeah. So that, and then I became really, really interested in charcuterie and sausage making, and that was kind of, they promoted me to head of charcuterie. And so that was kind of, really got into it. And
I love that that's a job title.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably sounding less precious to you than it does to me as like a consumer of charcuterie.
Yeah.
But I think it's very cool that that's a job title.
It was a really special restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more about that, because a lot of people I feel like I've spoken to just anecdotally had a really soft spot for Porcellino's.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to be 100% honest. I really didn't. Like, I understood that it was cool. I enjoyed myself. I thought it was good. But my response to not really understanding it is to want to know why. Like, what is it about this place that made it so special to people? What do you think it was? I am looking into Natalie Van Gundy's beautiful eyes right now, but I'm also gonna turn back over to Brad and be like, what, from your perspective, like, I do feel like I fully understand it filled a niche, it filled a need, it filled something.
Sure.
So what was so special about it?
Well, from behind the scenes,
yeah,
it's just that we were doing so much, I think, in that building. And in the end, I think that's what, you know, forced it to close, was that we were trying to do too much.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, there was like a pastry chef, you know, and a pastry department in there. There was the whole butcher side of it. And there was the kitchen. So there was like a executive sous chef who was in charge of the kitchen. There was Kayla Palmer, who was the head of the pastry department. And then there was me, who was head of the butcher shop.
Right.
And we were all doing such cool things, and we could like collaborate. We communicated really well together. Got to like put out a lot of dishes. And at the same time, like Kayla was doing all of the desserts for every restaurant in the group. I was doing all of the meat cutting and the charcuterie and the sausage making for all of the restaurants in the group. We were developing like
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So from my perspective, it was just the collaboration. And it's like Andy and Mike were really, really open to working with me on, and, I got to put dishes on at Catherine and Mary's. I got to put dishes on at Hog and Hominy. So that was the place where, like, creatively as a chef and as a butcher, I really, like, started to come into my own, I think.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was novel at the time. Like,
yeah.
And I think, partially, like, what we've done with Buster's Butcher Shop is we've made it a retail shop. It's a retail shop. Yeah. There's no restaurant component. We have a fantastic pastry chef who actually worked with me at Porcellino's. And it's like a lot of people that I'm working with now have been working with me since then, which is really awesome.
So yeah, let's bridge that gap. Like, thank you for waxing poetic about Porcellino's. I keep hearing about it, and then I've been hearing about it more again as people sort of have that as like a tentpole of the Memphis, restaurant scene, history, and time. That closed, and then you went on to other things, and now here we're with Buster's Butcher. But you've got a city block hat on right now. Yeah. So help us bridge the gap in your history, which I think actually, like, is just like the Memphis restaurant scene history, kind of. You've just been there. Yeah.
And, it's tight. It's really cool. And I get to be friends with everybody because I'm the butcher. I'm not the competition.
Yeah, that's nice.
I left Porcellino's before it closed and went to open the butcher shop at the Curb Market, which was supported by Winchester Farms.
Curb Market.
The Crosstown Curb Market, yeah. Okay. Not the one in the easy way, but when they moved it to the the concourse.
Brilliant.
And so it was like it was 100% whole animal butchery. It was we were supplied essentially by one farm, and we were doing that. It turned out in the beginning, Crosstown wasn't a great place to be. So I could kind of see the writing on the wall, and I had some people who had offered to put me in business, like on my own. Yeah. So I left there after about 5 months, and I went to start my own place, which was City Block.
Yes, City Block, and that was in the Pug Food Hall, which 409 South Main. Before
that, we started as like, I had been gone from Porcellino's for 6 months, and then I started renting the butcher side of Porcellino's, and that's how that started. We were there for probably 6 months before I decided, hey, we were doing wholesale. It was like almost 100% restaurant wholesale.
The intricacies, of the timeline.
Yeah. So it's great. I mean, this is important because, like, it comes back in the future. So when Puck Food Hall was South Main Market, I decided we needed a retail outlet, and so we went in there, and the visibility was terrible. There was only a bar in there. There was like a bar and us and Java Cabana at the time. So it was, we eked it out. We had a place to sell sandwiches. We started getting good local press about our sandwiches. It was never much of a butcher counter, which is what I wanted it to be. So it was more sandwiches. And then as time went on, I talked to the owners of the building, and I was like, guys, like, you have no restaurant background, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I was like, will you just let me and my team run it?
Yeah. Tale as old as time, though. Like, people have a vision from one side of the business that they've not been on the other. Yeah.
It's like, it's like the home cook who someone says you should open a restaurant, and they don't realize that it's a whole business.
Yeah.
So, so they said yes. They provided some additional funds, not much, but I was able to recruit. Or we, as a group, were able to recruit 7 more vendors, and we filled it up with 10 different stalls
That's great. Yeah.
You had Sweet Magnolia in there.
Sweet Magnolia was in there. Delivia Gordon, who was the baker. Mm-hmm. Daniel Masters had a pasta place.
I was gonna say there's a pasta.
He had the bar. Dr. Beans was the coffee vendor. We had walking in Memphis. Spencer Copeland, who was a good friend of mine, is like the Chinese, and then we operated. It was American Chinese, and we operated Vinga, the Mexican place, and Dojo, which was the pizza place, and then Radical Salads was in there too.
I loved Radical Salads.
Me too.
So I mean, it was just serious. It's probably the food hall is probably the most difficult thing I've ever done professionally, just because it's hard enough to run a restaurant where you're signing everyone's paychecks.
Yeah.
But these guys they're like independent vendors. So like getting everyone on the same page to, open at the same time or close at the same time or not take a huge break in the afternoon or, it was, the logistics of it were ridiculous.
Well, it was really special. I mean, it was a really cool place when it was all humming and
when it was full of people, it was really awesome.
And they were full of pizza. It was full of people. There were events. There was Charlie Nights. There was a lot of stuff. And it was really, really great.
Yeah, it seemed like it was it was really like doing its thing. We had DCA was helping us out with like the marketing and the redesign of it, and it looked like something cohesive as opposed to something that was just pieced together like it was before. And then pandemic.
Right. I was gonna say, I feel like there have been several sort of false starts or semi-false starts with food halls in Memphis, and I think I figured it out now, but I would love to know your take on why can't a food hall work in Memphis? But you've got a big, giant pandemic gap in there. So,
I mean,
it's hard to say what would have happened if that wouldn't have happened. But I am interested in your thoughts on a food hall in Memphis.
And where it should be.
And if it was going to work, how would it work? You know what I mean?
It needs to be in a walkable area. So, I mean, South Main made sense, but back then South Main wasn't as lively as it is now. I mean, it seems like there's a lot more going on down there with, Good Fortune and the Lobbyist and it's like all of those things. But at the time, it also seemed like, Central Station had just gone in, Bishop had just opened. What else? The Arrive Hotel with Hustle and Dough and Long Shot were down there.
Yeah.
I felt like we had turned a corner, right? And then it was March 2020, I think. It was just like, I was talking to the owner of the building and I was like, maybe, maybe it won't last that long. I was like, my literal statement to her, I was like, this is not the yellow fever in 1878. And while we didn't see those horrible death rates and stuff like that, it was for business.
Early on, yes, you had to say, you had every reason to think it would not be the yellow fever in 1878. Yeah. Why would it be now? But it was.
But by June, it was like I'd gone from, having 10 employees to just being me showing up every day to make food, and I just decided to kill it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people had to make a decision like that, but it doesn't make it any less painful.
But I'm proud of it.
As you should be. Again, I was happy to see your hat. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what happened next?
What happened next?
What happened next?
We're getting really close to the present.
We're getting close. But again, I think that this is I'm so interested in sort of the timeline and the way that the Memphis food scene and the people in it have evolved and how this person worked on this and then they also worked on this. I think that's really interesting to me. I hope it's interesting to other people.
It's really cool, and it's
we're
all friends too, It's awesome. Yeah, Jimmy Gentry was a huge part of City Block surviving as long as it did, just because we used Paradox Catering kitchen as our production facility.
Yeah.
You know, it's all intertwined. So
it is. It's all intertwined.
Yeah. So I did about a month at curfew because after I left, I took a month off, full month off.
Good.
And then I had to.
Good for you.
You know, you got to make money. Curfew was the only place that was hiring, so I went there for about a month, and I was like lead prep cook, and I just couldn't deal.
Sure. I only went to curfew once, and I had a really great experience. I thought it was really good, but I don't know how consistent
it
was at that time. And it's very hard to talk about any kind of like, not judging, but judging any kind of restaurant like during that time. Like I just, there's not, I don't want to do it. But like I did have some good experiences there and was like, why aren't more people doing curfew and talking about curfew? Or even like the place that was in the Hyatt, like, but all the places like that.
Yeah.
It's called SEMA. Yeah.
SEMA.
Yep. Full disclosure, I like worked a little bit on that hotel branding project for some reason when I was in Memphis Tourism. But it was actually really good for
CIMAS.
SEMAS. Yeah. Okay. This is amazing. I'm gonna have to like make a diagram or something.
That's so fun. Yeah. Like Memphis Restaurant Family Tree would be a fun project.
A family tree would be fun. Like the way that I've imagined it also is like, have you ever seen those cross sections of like paleontology digs where there's like fossils on different levels and it's like the Jurassic era, the Cenozoa era, but just for the last like 15 years. That's how it is visualized
just as dense.
In my brain. No, for real. Okay, you did that, a valiant effort. Yeah, and then kept
Nick
going.
Scott called me.
Yeah,
and then we had been friends for a long time. He had been kind of part of City Block and getting that open. And he called me one day and he was like, hey, I just walked through the old Lucky Cat.
Yes.
Which was on Broad.
Yes.
Which, that's a sad story too. But so, we were talking and he's like, I think I'm going to get it and just like put Salt and Soy in there.
Yeah.
He was like, would you want to be the executive chef? And I was like, yeah, love to, And at the time, Salt and Soy was a sushi pop-up.
Yes.
But what we talked about doing was turning it into more of a Japanese soul food restaurant. And
I can totally see that. Yeah, izakaya.
We took possession of it in November of 2021, I think. And it took forever to get passed through code. There were some...
As it does.
There were some problems with the plumbing and other stuff. We finally got it open in March, I think. So it was really cool. I was at curfew and I was like, Nick, you got to get me out of here. So as I left and I came to Salt and Soy and we just started diving, like Lindsay Chasson and myself, who has been like my long time, like second in command. She's amazing chef from South Louisiana. We work together to this day, but we just like sat down and we like built a Japanese pantry, like Japanese pickles and it's like all these sauces and stuff. And it's like, we got to work on it for like 3 to 4 months. Just
That's amazing. Yeah.
Deep dive into Japanese food. And, and we came up with some really cool stuff that was like kind of a cross between like Japanese cuisine and Southern soul food, comfort food cuisine. And then it's like Nick's responsibility was the sushi station, which was, in my opinion, it was like too far away from the kitchen. But whatever. It was,
sure.
I mean, it was.
Everybody's hopefully doing their best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like the service was, like loud rock and roll and metal music. And it's like all the servers, like their uniform was they had to wear like rock band t-shirts. And it was really cool. I have this philosophy that is the music that you play during service dictates the pace of service. So we wanted it to be really fast. So I was like, yeah, 120 beats per minute was my rule.
Bringing back all your skills, all your experience.
Yeah, so
including music.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's, like everything moved really fast. The food was awesome. It was a great concept, well executed, I think.
I had some excellent meals there and some excellent dishes. I think I had the, I had the kind of shrimp that is my favorite kind, and it's like really big. I don't know if it like meets the prawn level.
The spicy salt shrimp.
I think I called them Spicy Boys in my blog that never saw the light of day for a bunch of different reasons. But like they were so good and like head on. Like I'm from near the Gulf, not really the Gulf, but like near Hattiesburg.
Okay.
And that was so good. And this may have come from the sushi station, but just the little slices of
the crudo, the hamachi.
Thank you.
The hamachi crudo was insane. It was
that started an
hamachi
obsession
with
for me.
brown butter ponzu and avocado.
Yep, that's exactly the one. I think about it all the time. That was excellent. Yeah, it was a cool place, and there was like I think for a time an upstairs bar as well that had a lot of people working at it that are now like still doing things and doing their own things in the Memphis restaurant scene.
Yeah. Zach Jennings was there. Mitchell Marable was there. Austin Weisenborn, who's the head bartender at The Lobbyist now. Mickey Blanc, who's the manager of Louis Connolly's.
Yeah.
Who was our upstairs guy for a while. We could never really get the upstairs bar to catch on except for like as a overflow space on the weekends.
Sure.
We tried to make it like a late night thing, but it just didn't.
High Noon.
Yeah, High Noon was the Lucky Cat version.
Oh, High Noon was the Lucky Cat version.
Yeah.
What was the Salt and Soy version? Just the upstairs bar.
It was just,
as it should be.
The upstairs bar.
As it should be. Don't need to give a whole new brand.
We tossed around some names for it, but it's nothing that I should repeat out loud.
Sure. So that was a special place on Broad Avenue.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Are you enjoying this episode? Me too. I have good news and bad news. The bad news is we're done for this episode. The good news is there's going to be a part 2. We had so much to talk about with Brad McCarley that we're splitting this conversation in this episode in 2 pieces. But if you're listening live on WYXR, you can hear part 2 next week. In part 2, we talk more about Brad's role at the butcher shop at Buster's, what they have, their best-selling items, my ideal to steal a cheese box subscription service, and where Brad likes to eat when he's not cooking for himself. Tune in for part 2.